Hey crafters, want to learn how to make this awesome 2-page spread in your art journal? Make sure you check out this video and I will teach you exactly how to do it. Hey crafters, it's Renee here. I am bringing you a video today working with our art journal. And previously I had already put the binding tape in so our colors don't leak into the fold of the page, into the spine. And I've already gessoed this, but I'm going to be doing gesso again over top of our creation just to kind of whitewash it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to have speed up moments in this video and other areas where I'm actually going to tell you a little bit about what's going on. But away we go. And the one thing I really like about using the paper artsy paints is they dry very fast, so there's no need to have to wait or use my heat tool. They dry so fast that you can just move on to the next color. So right now, as you can see, I'm using my gel plate and I'm just putting the color directly on, and eventually some of this will be covered up with gesso, but that will be shown to you later. I'm just trying to get some background color to this page. And this is going to be abstract when we're done. All right, so on to the next move. And what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to add some tissue. I'm gonna add this one. This is a Ciao Bella, and it's called Our Love Words. I'm gonna add bits and pieces of this. And I'm also going to add this sentiment, and this is from Dina Wakley. And I am going to adhere that to our creation, our double pages, with Dina Wakley Gel Medium. And this is my go-to. This is what I use to adhere things. It dries clear and it works great. So we are going to use that. So I'm going to just put this a little bit on here just to get it to stick. And then I'm going to flatten it out. And because it dries clear, I'm not terribly worried about getting out of the lines, so to speak, because you're not going to see it anyway. And put it a little bit here. We could potentially have other things covering this up as well. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to use my brayer and just go over it a little bit and try and flatten out the bubbles to some degree. So that's somewhat flattened out. There we go. And then with this one, the Ciao Bella, I am going to rip it. You could use water and rip it as well and just kind of tear that apart, and I think I've shown that in previous videos. If not, I will show it some other time, but I'm just ripping mine for now. Okay, and same effect. I'm going to, or same procedure, use a little bit of our gel medium. Tim Holtz also has a good one as well, but I tend to use Dina's for the most part. Both awesome Ranger products. So I'm going to put this one over here, and same thing. Use my brayer just to adhere it to some degree. And there we go. All right, so we're done with that for now. And the next thing I'm going to use is a little bit of the Nuvo Mica Mist, and this color is called Pampas Grass. So I'm going to give that a good shake. And I'm actually going to take off the top and put it on our gel plate. And I'm going to brayer that as well. I'm not using a lot, just a little bit. So I'm going to gel that out. And it's not going to give me much, but it might have like a little bit of a glisten to it. I'm going to put a little bit more. And I'm not looking for full out effect. I just want to have a little bit of a glisten. I don't want to pour it because this is very loose. So it will run, oh, there we go. See, I just did it. So that's how accidents happen. But anyways, I'm gonna get this on here, run it on a little bit, see if it adds anything. So this is like a trial and error kind of thing. Just experiment and see if it works. So we'll put that there. All right, so our next thing I'm going to do is I am going to use some modeling paste. And I am using Finnabar's Art Basics modeling paste. It's the opaque matte. And I'm going to put that on with, I use a couple things actually. You could use a putty knife, and I do that as well. But what I'm also going to use to spread it are, and I mean most people probably are going to get these, is hotel cards. So I just use these all the time. A lot of people do that. So that is one thing you could use. I am just going to use, because I didn't bring it with me into my room here, I am going to just use a brush for now to put this on here. Normally I would use a putty knife, but like I said, I didn't bring it with me into this room. So that's just laziness. So I'm going to do that. And then get out our key. Whoops. And spread our modeling paste. You could use a texture paste. I'm just gonna put it on here for now. But I don't for a lot of the stuff in this one. I use texture paste more for things that aren't in my books necessarily. Actual projects I might have on display, like pictures and things like that, but you could do that. All right, so I'm gonna lift that one. That's exactly the look I wanted to have. I'm just gonna flatten out some of these edges. And this is where sometimes my putty knife comes in handy, just so I don't have like completely defined edges, but you don't have to do that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit, I'm going to flip it so it's not the exact same numbers in the same spots. I'm going to put a little bit in here as well. And there we go. Same thing, I'm going to flatten it out just a little bit. There we go. So that's that. Now I'm going to just wait for this to dry. You could use your heat tool, but I'm going to wait for this to dry myself, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the next step. While I'm still waiting for that to dry, actually, I'm going to show you, I'm going to add a little bit of paper to the creation, and this is just the back side of this awesome line by Elizabeth Craft. It's called Rusty Weathered. I am going to just rip out a little bit of it and I'm going to put it on here, so I will show you that. And you should know, like, if you rip towards you, you're gonna have the white edge. If you rip away from you, you won't. So, depending on which side you want. Okay, so I have those. I'm gonna take bits and pieces of those. And then this is another one I have, and this one is from Kaiser Craft. It's from the Rosabella collection. It's called Balletic. So I'm going to be using that as well. So same thing, just ripping off a piece All right, and then with this one, I am going to make it a little bit more. And again, with our gel medium, I have a little bit still on my brush, I'm going to add this onto our page. And again, basically what I'm doing with this is just adding some color texture to our creation. I have some other things we're going to be adding to do that as well. Put a little bit, and this gel medium you can put over top. It works great to adhere it and get all the corners stuck down. So we'll tack that down. Again, it dries clear, so it's awesome. Awesome, awesome stuff. I use it all the time. Okay. So there's that. And again, still while we're letting that dry, I'm going to add something else. And I might add some more after the fact, but I'm going to add some now, and that is washi. So I grabbed a few different ones that I might want to use. And these are all some pretty cool washies. I couldn't tell you who created all of these ones because I honestly don't remember. This one I always have problems with. I'm going to show you. It sticks to itself. And you can tell I've had it a long time because washi that has been around a while and hasn't been used, it tends to do this. It gets gloppy, for a better choice of words. So all of you guys who hoard your washi, try and use it, because this is what happens when you don't. It sticks. And this one is super sticky. So I have like a little bit of a line. Now it's creating a mess, but anyways, this is gonna work for what I need it for. I'm just gonna rip off the edge. And for you people that like totally straight, clearly not, and this is abstract, so that's not going to happen with this one. This is another one I have. I'm going to add as well. And it doesn't totally follow the color scheme, but because we're going to gesso, you're not probably going to notice a whole lot. So with this one, I am going to put it down here as well. And then this one, I love this one. This is one of my favorite ones, and it's very simple. It's just the alphabet. Alphabet in a nice mustardy yellow. It's kind of an ombre yellow. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to put this one down here. And nice, because you can just rip washi. Makes things nice and easy for you. And then I'm going to also put it along this one as well. And a rip. Okay, so there's that. It's still slightly tacky, but what I'm going to do is we are going to now apply our gesso. So we're going to do that now. So now I'm going to add my gesso. Our numbers are still slightly tacky. I'm going to show you the gesso I use, and really you could use any kind of gesso, but I would recommend using a lighter weight gesso and not a heavy weight. This is the Demco. It's a Canadian brand, but it's the Demco Economy Oil and Acrylic Gesso. And I tend to use this one more than anything for cost factors. I apologize if you hear a chainsaw in the background all of a sudden. It's my neighbor chopping down a tree. So hopefully I'll try and talk over that. But anyways, I'm going to take this off and I am going to show you gessoing over this. So I'm just taking a light layer at first. You can always add more. That's the key. You can always add more, but you can't take away. So I'm going to go over this lightly with our gesso. And I wouldn't worry so much about the brush strokes right now because we can always thin that out after. But we're gonna, basically what we're doing is whitewashing. So hopefully that makes sense. We're going to whitewash it. Okay, so there's our gesso, and we're going to let that dry for a second. It shouldn't be too long because I just did a very light layer. Our next thing we're going to do, again, and this is to add just some depth and dimension to your page, is I'm going to add some thread. And this is just a regular Gooderman's thread that you can get from any kind of sewing shop. And with this one, I'm going to just add it maybe up in here. I'm going to add a little bit of gesso, and I'm going to just wrap this around, and I might modeling paste it over a little bit, but so you're just adding it for kind of the feel, I guess. Just for a little bit of depth. And oh, look at that. It kind of created an R. All right. So there's that. So now the next thing I'm going to do, we're almost done, is I'm going to add some color. And I brought out my Tim Holtz Distress crayons. So we're going to add some color with Distress crayons. And I really like the color scheme we had picked. So I'm going to try and stay with that color scheme. So I used, from Paper Artsy, the Caribbean Sea, the Tangerine Twist, and the Cheesecake. So I'm not going to pull that one in, but I'm going to pull these ones in. It's Tangerine Twist and the Caribbean Sea. So I'll put those there. So I think what colors I will probably use is the Wild Honey. That's very similar. And I've got lots of blues and Peacock Feathers. So we're going to use those. I'm just going to pull this up a little bit. And I'm going to show you on our crafting mat. Hopefully you can see it, but if not, I will explain. I'm just going to put a little bit there. I actually have too much, but I will show you. And I am going to put the peacock feathers here. Again, too much. But you could use a water brush, but I am not going to use a water brush for this. Getting my paintbrush wet, and I'm going to do the blue first. So look at all that pigment. My brush has got a lot of pigment on it now. So now I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of the color on our page. Just kind of bring it back a little bit, but not a lot. So we have some of that color back on here. And go over the numbers. Okay, I'm going to add some more of the peacock feathers. And then we'll do the same with our other color, which again was the Wild Honey. Alright, so there's that. So the next thing I'm going to do, and this is our final thing that we're going to do on this one, I have my Stabilo All pencil, and it's an awesome pen. I use it a lot. What I wanted to do, hopefully we're gonna have to let this dry just a little bit, but I'm gonna do some doodads on our pages. So we're gonna do that in a second. We're just gonna let this dry for a second. While we're waiting for this to dry and to put the pencil on, I decided I'm going to make some dots on here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of the color with our Caribbean Sea and our Tangerine Twist, and I'm just going to blot them on here. So I'm going to just add this onto our craft mat. And Normally you should shake that first, but I shook it off camera. Okay, so I've got our blue. This is a Dilutions stencil, so I'm just going to use that and just blot some of the blue awesomeness on here. Okay, so now I'm going to add some of that Tangerine Twist. Same thing. It's awesome color. And same thing. And if we mix them a little bit, I don't mind so much because that's actually kind of the look I'm going for. Look how cool that looks. So hold that down. And there we go. Oh, I love it. Look at that. That looks so neat. So I'm going to add a little bit of that up here as well. So we will do the same thing. Okay, I like it. So that was a good choice to do that. So we have that. And again, we're just going to wait for a second and we're going to let that dry and we will come back and add our Stabilo. So now that it's dried somewhat, I'm going to go through and just add, again, a little bit of depth and dimension to this. Could be slightly wet. And you wouldn't have to do this. It's just totally up to you. I just wanted to add a little bit of circling, and you could even use like a charcoal, you could use like a black distress crayon, you could use anything you wanted to do, whether it's like some kind of a distress crayon. So same things, we're just adding some like doodads and doodles and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun just to create and do your own thing. You could add more tissue to this to have like a rumpled effect. But this is kind of our creation I wanted to create. I love working with my art journals and they're so much fun. One I will show you will be coming soon. I've already done the background for it, but it's this one. So this will be loading up here soon. And this is with Stamperia's dancing line. So I will be doing that with the ballerina. So make sure you stick back and you subscribe to this channel and you hit that bell notification and like these videos, which helps me a great deal. Check out my Etsy store for all of my cool things that are for sale, and my Instagram and Facebook. But for now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I will have a lot more art journal and gel press and all those kind of things coming up. But for now, I again hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, crafters, and have a great day.